Feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I am your host, D Sam D, aka Sam Deuce, my junior. Oh, there's a lot to get into on this hump day. A little bit of NBA, matter of fact, a lot of NBA. A little sprinkle of NFL. Didn't put it there in the topic bar, but we will get there. I see Chief is in here early. He wants to talk about Mahomes. Okay. Mahomes said the thing he's supposed to say, but you know, I understand if you feel like that gets you in your bag and you feel as though what Mahomes said is actually worth something. We'll get there. Trust and believe. I have it queued up. I have it pulled up. I ain't afraid to duck in no smoke. All right. Celtics fight off elimination. They did get the one. Marcus Smart said, don't let us get one. They got the one. He could choke this off. There's a lot of NBA trade tea. Tis the season to go viral with just a wild, facetious NBA factuated trade. There's one that really stood out to me. There was a sick LeBron one that just made no sense. We won't even get into that. But this other one, though, you could paint a scenario where that trade potentially could be a thing. So we'll touch on that. And then Ja Morant. What's left to say? Cry for help? I don't know. I'm done pretending like I know what's in that man's head. I've reached out to people that are within vicinity of the camp, and no one knows anything, and no one's saying anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it alone. You can go ahead and leave that alone. Chief, if you're still in here, I will get to this. I ain't ducking no smoke. Now, what he's referencing is they asked Mahomes about his contract. And the funny thing is that Chief has been in here saying, well, Mahomes isn't saying he wants a new contract and he's not worried about other people's money. And while I understand why Chief would say that, and while I understand why Chief would believe that, what else is Patrick Mahomes supposed to say? That's why he has an agent to do the talking for him, right? But anyway, we will get there. Script Zero in the house early. What up, though? AB in the chat was good. The intro's done by May 1st Music. Shout out to him. Support him at soundcloud.com/May 1st Music. That's the homie. Script Zero. Heat left their foot off the gas and the Celtics took advantage. Do we need to put some respect on Cosplay Kobe's name? Cosplay Kobe came to hoop. Let's jump right into it. Let's not waste no more time. One more again. You see it. 116-99. The Celtics finally get their first dub of the series. What did y'all see last night? We'll just go through the box score just to see if there's anything that stands out. Nothing in regards to pace. Effective field goal percentage, you could talk about that. The Celtics finally had a good third quarter where Missoula didn't have to worry about taking no timeouts. They were the ones that actually took advantage coming out the break. And nothing clear to me. Offensive rating, hella problematic. So the effective field goal percentage for the Heat and the offensive rating for the Heat, problematic. But again, one game sample size. But when you're looking at the Celtics, you know where we start. What did Tatum shoot? How many shots? What was the percentage? 14 of 22. So 64%. 4 of 9 from 3, 44%. So a really strong shooting performance from the best player on the team. He knows he's the best player on the team. The team knows he's the best player on the team. So he's gone out there and he's putting up the shots every single night like he's the best player on the team. And you see the disparity between him and Jaylen Brown again. We've kept an eye on that, but it's the same thing. 6 more shots. This time Jaylen Brown did not shoot as well. Not the greatest night for Jaylen Brown, but it didn't really matter because Tatum was him. Cosplay Kobe was in effect mode last night. Now, let's get into where he took those shots, shall we? Was it just a matter of the shots fell for Tatum as opposed to prior games. Now, again, here's where the issues oftentimes lie with players like Jayson Tatum. They all want to be out here. They all want to be out here. You see where the shots are at. You see where the red X's are at. But you see where there's little to no red X's? In the paint, dogs. In the paint, dogs. There's no X's in the paint. But, you know, he's out here. He's predicated to living out here. For someone that had the growth spurt and it had the Celtics gushing over themselves, you're like, oh my God, he's still growing. He's 6'9", he's 6'10", yet and still, man's just be out here marinating. And he got away with it last night, but you see where he was doing work. When he gets to the bucket, when he's aggressive. Now, I know the frame is not the sturdiest. I know he's not the strongest dude in the world, but when he goes to the rack, you see what happens. It opens up this. If he continues to do this, he can get these off. You would assume in Boston he would make more of these, even though we have little to no evidence of that based off the first, 2 games of this series. But in theory, if he keeps being aggressive in the hole, in the paint, he should be able to get this off. And more so, we have to look at the second half. As you see here, he's a mixed bag, spraying it all over the place. Some of the paint, a midi, and then a couple threes. Fourth quarter. Again, get into the rack, couple of middies, and then you could take those outside threes. But as long as he keeps doing that work in the paint, I don't mind the middies. And even though he's not the greatest, he's really streaky when it comes to three-point shooting, I'll accept the three-point shooting. But once he is aggressive in getting to the paint, this opens up everything else. Basketball at times does not have to be that difficult. It does not. Sometimes the players overthink it. Sometimes the coaches overthink it. But Jayson Tatum was aggressive, especially in that second half. And I think that was the difference. I don't think the Heat necessarily choked. I don't think they tricked one off. I don't think anything like that. The game was close until Tatum decided enough is enough. And he gave you 11 boards and 7 dimes. Okay? Now, when you look at the Heat team last night looked like the team I remember from December, February, March, into April. Because they can't shoot. They were the worst shooting team in the NBA in the regular season. The worst. They were in the bottom half in three-point shooting, but they were absolutely dead last, the worst in field goal percentage in the regular season. And they shot like it last night, where Jimmy was 9 of 21. Bam didn't take a lot of shots, so Bam retreated back into being Idris Adebayo instead of being Bam Adebayo. Lowry was 2 for 8. Like, the shots just did not fall. So, again, they shot 44% from the floor and 25% from three. The threes have been important for them in this run. Because, again, they're bottom half of the league in threes. So, are they going to revert to the median the longer this playoff run goes? Because you could say they've been, as a team, on a hot streak with their three-point shooting. But if this is now going to be, if they're going to revert back to who we know they were during the regular season, the window of opportunity is there for Boston to pull this off. I'm not saying they're going to do that. What I'm saying is that if they continue to shoot like this, which is more so what we were accustomed to in the regular season, them being a really bad three-point shooting team and them being the absolute worst field goal shooting percentage team, that window of opportunity, if Tatum's going to continue to just be aggressive and be that guy. If Grant Williams is going to continue to stare down Jimmy Butler and bang threes in his eye, if Robert Williams can be productive enough to give you some minutes, the window of opportunity is there for the Boston Celtics. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat. Alexander's in the house. Hey, Alexander, how you doing today? Chief, the Heat better not F around and get it finished. They don't want to play with fire. Well, I mean, here's the thing, Chief. Like, I think ultimately the Heat should be able to get one more win before the Celtics get 3. But if they shoot like they shot last night, which is the norm, 25% from 3, 44% from the floor, that's normally how they got down when they were struggling, when they were just, barely, needing a somewhat heroic effort just to beat the Bulls to clinch the play-in, to clinch the 8th seed. This was more like the team that lost to the Hawks and tricked off the 7 seed. Now, it could be a one-game anomaly. Jimmy is saying all the right things. He's not worried. He's not worried about it. Okay, cool. But don't go to Boston and trick off another one. Because we all know what that means. That means that game 6 back in Miami is really your game 7. Because now the pressure all is on the Heat if it gets to a game 7. And if it gets to a game 6, the pressure is all on the Heat. So if the Heat want to avoid a lot of this shit, they got to go out there and take care of business in game 5. But Brick City on the road, that can happen. Regressing to the means in terms of their shooting, that can happen. Like, let's look up what they shot as a team in the regular season. Let's get team stuff. Regular season. Will they give that to me here? Okay, yeah. Field goal percentage. Where are we at here? That's defense. Where is that? So 46% from the floor and 35% from 3. So that's about league average. League average is 35%. So the Heat, if you look at them, they're not a good shooting team. But throughout this playoff run, they've been cooking. All their numbers are up across the board for the Miami Heat. Let's see if we get some playoff numbers. Can be separated by that? Or do we got to go through that individually? Playoffs per game. As a team, though, they're not going to give me that. Okay. All right. So I guess we could play it by this ear. Like, we know Jimmy's numbers are crazy up. Jimmy's shooting 51%. He shot 44 in the regular season. No, that's Tyler Hero. Wait, where are we at? 54. 34%, 35%. That's interesting. Jimmy's shooting the same, but everything is increased. Shots have gone up. Everything has gone up. 6 threes a game in the playoffs. Where are we at here? Why don't they have this organized? Okay, Jimmy Butler. 3 threes a game compared to 1.5, so 2 threes a game. His numbers, here's the weird thing, right? They're saying like his shots didn't go up. So how is he averaging 8 more points? The math ain't mathing here. I'll have to do a deep dive and see why that is. The math ain't mathing. He's taking 14 shots. Now he's taking 21 shots. Okay, so that's how the math is mathing. Okay. But the averages don't average it out unless you get to the average attempts. That's weird. All right. But trust, the Heat are not a good shooting team. Now they're hot. Now they reverted back to their regular season form last night. We'll see if that affects them as this series goes along. Now, if you're Boston, let's hear from Boston. Make sure I got the sound good. They were in their bag in the post game, and Jaylen Brown especially, but we'll start with Marcus Smart, talks about the keys to getting another dub in Game 5.
Marcus, you and Jaylen said a shoot around today. Don't let us win one. Obviously, just one game, but now what?
Now we just got to go win another one. That's all that matters.
Don't let us get two.
We take it one game at a time. We understand. The odds are stacked against us, but we're a team that believes in us no matter what, and we just got to keep going. And all that matters is the next game.
Marcus, what we saw today is what was missing in the first 3 games. What is going to be the key to finding consistency and replicating tonight's success?
Doing the little things over and over. Tonight was the little things. We trusted in each other. We believed in each other continuously.
I'll wait, but
even when we're down,
there is something to what he's saying.
Each other, and that's what we got to continue to do. No matter what, we got to continue to play the right way, continue to believe in each other, and let the chips fall where they may.
Okay, so normally that's like word salad. Normally that's just athlete speak to just say an answer to a question. But I do think there was something to the effort and the little things. The little thing that I noticed, and I rewatched the game this morning, the closeouts on defense. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but the extra effort they gave on closing out on the shooter, it was effective. They got a couple of key deflections. They were able to block some three-pointers from behind. Like, they did a little bit of extra effort, especially in the second half, is what made the difference in this game. And it's just a matter of, well, that's not coaching. Joe Mazzulla can't implore them to close out harder. It takes the actual players to go out there and do it. So while Joe Mazzulla is going to catch heat, no matter how this goes, unless they pull this off, if they're able to get this to 6, maybe people fall off a little bit on Joe Mazzulla. Probably not, though, because of the 3-0 hold he helped put this team in. But to me, the difference last night, besides Tatum saying, I'm the best player on this court, to hell with the Kobe cosplay, I'm going to be the best Jayson Tatum I could be, it was the fact that they closed out on shooters. Like, I had to rewatch a couple of possessions. I'm like, yeah, that closeout made the difference in that being a brick. Instead of dudes being wide-ass open, instead of Strus and all these dudes just being wide-ass open, they're closing out. Because it literally is do or die. So I do think it was the little things in this game that actually gave the Celtics the edge over the Heat in Game 4. Now, can they run that back again in Game 5? Can they channel that same energy to close out every single time like they did last night? I mean, they've only done it once in 4 games. So it's going to be hard for me to just automatically assume they're going to be able to do that. But that was something that I did see, and especially in rewatching it this morning, was, they closed out hard. They tried to get every deflection imaginable. Like they played like it was an elimination game. Now, can they do that 3 more times? Scrub Zero, I wouldn't say the Heat choked, just that they didn't maintain the good play that they had in the first half. Yeah, they were okay in the first half. I think Jimmy kind of took his foot off the gas, though, in terms of, we know Jimmy's a good ISO player. Jimmy also can attack the rim, and I think he got into trying to get some fouls last night instead of actually trying to finish at the rim. Just my thoughts on that. Scrub, can the Celtics play a complete game of basketball, or at least more complete than the Heat 3 more times? Can the Celtics do it even 1 more time? I'm not the biggest momentum guy, but I think the fact that we all can agree the Celtics have way more talent than the Heat. So I think because of the talent, you will always have a chance. If the talent clicks, you should have a chance against a team like the Heat that needs a system and a culture to defeat you. And plus you add in the fact that they've been bombs away this whole playoff run, which is against their average. Now, could they be reverting back to their median? If the Heat go in a shooting slump, if the Celtics keep closing out on shooters aggressively the way that they did last night, I really think they could pull this off. AB could see the series going 6. I mean, I think right now you would have to give the edge by default to the Heat because they're up 3-1. But if the shots are not falling, especially on the road, and Tatum decides enough with the cosplay Kobe stuff, they don't got no answer for him. Bam hasn't really been that great on him. Jimmy really hasn't been that great on him. It's just a matter of Tatum taking the shots and deciding which shots are the best shots. And sometimes he falls in love with that 3 and it's like, here comes that Kobe shit. Like, just dog, you're 6'9", 6'10". You're bigger than Kobe. Stop trying to play like Kobe. You're more KD. You're more KD than you are Kobe. I understand the Mamba mentality. You worked out with Kobe. That's fine. And I understand when to pay homage to him every chance you get. But that doesn't mean you got to play basketball like him too. When you're built more like Kevin Durant. You and KD work out together. Tap into that. Tap into that, Tatum. Stop giving me the Kobe cosplay. I saw those movies live and direct. I'm good. In today's NBA, that Kobe shit won't work. I don't know, man. Let's get to Jaylen Brown, who was damn near on that poo shiesty, with the ski cap, but we'll get there. Let's see. Jaylen Brown, we got the sound up. We good there. All right, Jaylen Brown at the podium last night.
Jaylen, you mentioned you guys galvanized last night. What does that entail?
Just coming together, talking it out, and like a lot of times when you get to this point, down 3-0, you see, locker rooms and teams start to go in the other direction. We wanted to make sure that we stayed together. We wanted to make sure that we, look each other in the eye and came out today and put our best foot forward. And I'm proud of our group for doing that, because you see teams with their back against the wall and you see they just collapse. You didn't see that tonight. You've seen us come together. You've seen us play defense. You've seen us make the right plays. And I think like that shows a lot about our character, especially in a game where everything is on the line and everything has went wrong in the last couple of games.
Okay, so to your point, Scrub, Jaylen Brown kind of mentioned that they had to chop it up and have a team meeting. Then they aired out their grievances, and Jaylen Brown just spoke on that. And he knew that that could have been the last time that they were on the room together. It looks like it was effective for one night. Yeah, I mean, look, I think when you got more talent than the other squad, sometimes you just got to get together and have that conversation. Like, yo, we're better than them. Like, what are we doing? We beat them to get to the finals last year. What are we doing playing with our food like this? Like, we're playing with our food. What are we doing? So I think Jaylen Brown is speaking to that. And, I understand how it may go a few times in regards to team meetings. Sometimes can be overrated. It can be overlooked. But I do believe once we get down right to it, this Celtics team is more talented than the Miami Heat. Everyone keeps talking about, the narrative of so many undrafted free agents on the Heat and this, that, and the third. And if that's the case, then the team that has 6, 7, 8 lottery picks on it, and guys that have performed well, not lottery picks that are bust in this league, lottery picks that have performed to their lottery pick status, they should be able to run this team off the floor. Yet they struggled with them last year in the playoffs before ultimately taking them down. And now they're down 3-1 to this same squad. Jaylen Brown continues.
These stories come out about X, Y, and Z.
Okay, let's run that
Our
back.
character. Like right now, obviously we underperformed in the last 3 games, and you start to hear all these stories come out about X, Y, and Z. Who knows where they actually come from? And 99% of them is not true at all. So, we wanted to stay together, and I think that was the emphasis.
But what's that 1% that is true, though?
Last night, before we played today, was make sure we was on the same page. We didn't want to come out and lay an egg. We wanted to come out and play together. Want to come out, trust each other, come out, play some defense, have some pride about yourself, and find a way to win a game.
The defense.
And, we all more than capable of doing it. So tonight we got it done. Smart was in my ear, letting me know where the game is at. Just keep being aggressive, keep making the right plays. It ain't always got to be you putting the ball in the basket. I helped us win tonight. So just continue to make the right plays, and the game will open up for you. And that's what Smart does, is just be a leader, be vocal, and we found a way to win.
Okay, so it sounds like Marcus Smart said, dog, stop complaining about getting no shots. Stop complaining about the shot disparity that Sam D keeps showing on Timeline T. Stop watching Timeline T and watch it how Sam keeps breaking down how you're always getting 8 to 9 less shots than Tatum. Stop watching Timeline T, which is horrible advice, by the way. But stop watching that and let's just tap in. Let's tap in and get this dub, and let's do the dirty work while we let Tatum be cosplay Kobe. Sounds like what that was to me. And now we got cosplay Kobe at the podium. Let's see how he was giving it up. Can we pick up any Mamba mentality quotes in here? Let's see. Jayson Tatum from last night.
Yeah, we just, everybody was in good spirits, right? Everybody was upbeat. And, as cliche as it sounds, we just try to take it one game at a time.
Mamba mentality.
We tried to break it down of, we didn't play well those first 3 games. We didn't deserve to win. But
Mamba mentality, didn't deserve to win.
We didn't want that to define us, define the season. And we still got a long uphill battle to go. But tonight was a good start, right? And, just try to carry this momentum towards Thursday. Yeah, we just...
All right, so Tatum saying a bunch of words that doesn't really signify too much. Yeah, Scrub, it's my fault, it's your fault. We all was the problem. We all were the problem. So this is Scrub Zero, now let's refer to you as Scottie Pippen. Yeah, like that's, don't worry about that. Get out the chat of Timeline T. Just stay out the chat, dogs. Stop being angry at how the shot disparity is so heavily weighted with the shot chart every single time when these 70 recaps the games. Stop watching that back. Stop reading what Scrub's airing you out, calling you Scotty. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Go do the dirty stuff. Go close out. I know you think you a bucket. I know you think you're going to go to Atlanta and cook up in the A and become a, 28, 29 point per game score. We'll worry about that in the summer. Right now, I need you to stay out the Timeline T chat and tap in and close out. Worry about closing out on these shooters, bruh. And that's where we at. That is where we at. Your man's Tatum. Do we dare look at the shot chart? Or at least the averages? Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at this. Ooh. Tatum and Brown have equaled the same field goal attempts. Hey, Jaylen Brown better not be watching today. Jaylen, how the hell did this happen? How the hell Tatum? But didn't Tatum have he had like a 1 for 7? But he didn't take no shots, right? What game was that? But that game 2 or 3? I think that was game 2. But he didn't take a lot of shots. That's the only way that they could be even up in field goal attempts. But okay, who's shooting a better percentage? Oh, it's Tatum. Sorry, Jaylen. It's usually you. But unfortunately, even in this series, it's Tatum shooting better than you. Yikes. All right, so we heard from that. Let's see. Do we want to hear from your man's Missoula? Is your man's Missoula saying anything? We got any footage? Let's go to media. Anything from Missoula? No love for Missoula. We got Grant Williams. I don't want to hear from Grant Williams. Anthony Ant-Man pulled up on Jaylen Brown. Is Ant-Man tampering right here? Ant-Man tampering or not? Let's see. Oh, Missoula? Oh, yeah. We always got to give Missoula a chance. We roasted him the last couple of days. We'll give Missoula a chance. Let's see. Got the sound ready. Yep. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see if he makes the faces, if he does the head cocking thing. Let's see if he has that same energy from before the game.
Joe, can it just be boiled down to as simple as a bunch of
There it is again. He does that thing.
pointers from guys who just haven't been hitting them? Al hit 3, Derek hit 3. You have 4 from Grant. I mean, that's
It's almost like he's not understanding. Like, is that the look he's pulling off?
From role players that you haven't been getting?
I mean, I think that plays a part in it. I think at the same time, we
He looks
didn't
way
make
more
shots.
relaxed
We had
after a
like
win.
Empty possession stretch in both halves where we continued to defend at a high level. And so I think it's the combination of defending at a high level regardless of if those go in, but obviously when they go in, they help.
Defending at a high level. I'm telling you, it's the closeouts. I'm telling you, that's the shit that stood out to me. It was like, yo, they're closing out hard, bruh.
And it makes things a little bit easier for you.
Okay, we have anything else from your man's Missoula? Or that was it? Al Horford, Big Al after a dub?
Staying together,
You got one. How?
playing team ball. Staying together. We feel like we found some good things here tonight. And just our backs against the wall, like we talked about, and we got the first one.
How much pride does this group take in coming through in those moments?
We take a lot of pride. We know what we have, and for whatever reason, we haven't been able to be at our best. And our backs are against the wall now, and I felt like our guys responded.
Al, you hit your first three in this game. How important was it for you to see that shot go down?
I mean, it was, it was good. The biggest thing is the ball movement. If you see our game tonight, the ball wasn't sticking so much, and I feel
second
like
half
we
it was
found,
sticking.
What it takes for us to be the best version of ourselves.
Yeah, what keyed that 18-0 run in the third quarter to take control?
Just solid basketball. We started on the defensive end, got stops when we needed, and then took advantage of that.
Al Horford plucks his eyebrows, his eyelashes. Just me or not? Okay.
Finally, we talked this morning. You said no pressure. You feel that going into Game 5 as well?
No pressure.
No pressure.
At all.
See? No pressure.
It's on them, and we're playing pretty free right now.
All right, so we'll move off of that. All right. I don't know if the Celtics have enough to bring this all the way back to where, but they can get it to at least 6. But I do think this now makes Game 5 certainly interesting. It would have been. It wouldn't have been at the same type of energy if they would have won like a buzzer beater to stay alive. But the fact that they won pretty handedly, especially in the second half, I think is what makes me go like, oh, this may not be actually over. Especially if the Heat shoot the way that they did last night. And I think that's something we're going to have to monitor. Clearly, it's a thing that can happen. These are great shooting numbers in terms of Gabe Vincent is shooting 50% from 3. Can he continue to shoot 50% from 3? Caleb Martin, 46%. These are not what these dudes shoot. 50% and 46%? Like, this is not what those dudes shoot. So if that reverts back to what their averages are, does that open the window of opportunity for the Celtics? Yeah, Missoula just be having the ice grill, man. He's still a hooper, bro. He's still a hooper, yo. All right, so we off that. Let me get this lined up for the next segment here. So something on the 4-letter network. Ty Lue, some NBA tea. The Suns would love to get their hands on Ty Lue. From what I'm hearing out in LA, the Clippers probably wouldn't mind him being gone, but Ty Lue wouldn't mind being gone. They're just not ready to make that move right now. So obviously, this is something we've talked about here, I think a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, we talked about how Ty Lue was at odds with the front office. And, part of okay. Let me see if I can paint this clearly. Ty Lue in the front office got beef. Hard stop, okay? I'm going to say it's mostly Lawrence Frank, but it's not just Lawrence Frank, okay? There was an issue with how this roster was built. Ty Lue played a lot of small guards towards the end of the year, and it cost them games. Some people inside the NBA have inferred that that was done by design, that he purposefully played rotations he knew would be trash to prove to the front office that those players were bad fits for his system. Now, again, that's all allegedly, okay? So, with another year of not knowing how much you're going to get from board man Kawhi Leonard or Pandemic P, Paul George, who's out here podding like he's Draymond, you don't know what you're going to get from those two. So if I'm Ty Lue and I have a high basketball acumen in terms of X's and O's, unlike a Doc Rivers, unlike a Monty Williams that thinks they could just motivate and locker room story these players to death, Ty Lue can actually draw plays up, can adjust on the fly. He is a top-tier coach in this league. And he thought he was walking into a situation with the Clippers with a new, energetic, owner and Steve Ballmer who's going to throw money at everything. When really he just threw money at Kawhi and then mortgaged the future to go get Pandemic P. They haven't really done too much else tinkering roster-wise to improve. Terrence Mann's okay. They've done some small tinkering, but nothing to really support and build around those two guys who were injury prone prior to them playing together and have only continued to be injury plagued now that they are playing together. So you built a roster, you try to build a new identity for this franchise that's been dormant around two dudes who are oft injured. And all they have done have come to your squad, collect checks, and have continued to be oft injured. But the one saving grace is you have a top-tier coach on the sidelines who can make it work, even with dudes playing 50 games a year. But now that dude wants to get paid and paid like he's top tier, and he would like to have to depend on more than just two stars who are only going to play 50 some odd games a year. And the Clippers don't want to hear it because they've had to mortgage everything just to get those two dudes who are only going to play 50 games a year. So it's a bad marriage. It's time for Ty Lue to walk away. Ty Lue, if he's smart, he should be trying to get, Phoenix is mentioned here, but every team in this league, outside of maybe Miami, and maybe two or three other spots, would drop everything to go get Ty Lue. So the fact that the Clippers potentially wouldn't mind him walking away just lets you know how inept that franchise still is. Even with new logos, soon to be a new arena, gentrifying Inglewood, all of that doesn't matter. Same old Clippers. All right, so I mentioned to y'all that there was going to be a trade that I actually would like to explore with y'all. And it's not a LeBron trade that doesn't make any sense, like LeBron to the Knicks. It's none of that nonsense. It's an actual trade that I feel, if offered, could potentially work. So let me get that set up. All right, cool. The Athletic came up with this trade idea of the Portland Trailblazers moving Pascal Siakam, the Blazers receiving Pascal Siakam in the 13th pick. And the Raptors would get Nasir Little, the third pick, which we would assume would be Scoot Henderson by all mock drafts, a protected first in 2026, Luke Kennard and Tyus Jones, and the Grizzlies slide in here and make it a three-teamer, and they get Anthony Simons. Now, while I don't know if this trade in its entirety would work, I like the framework of what we're talking about here. Because we know that third pick is up for grabs from Portland, although I still feel it should not be. I think it's time to trade Dame and you build around Anthony Simons. But unfortunately, they're still trying to figure out how to keep Dame and win a chip. I think that window is closed with Dame as your lead guy, and there's no one good enough that you can get with that third pick to pair with Dame that's better than Dame. So if that's the case and Dame is still your lead guy, I don't think that's enough for a Larry O.B., bruh. I don't think so. But I like the fact of the Blazers bringing in Siakam and getting the 13th pick. So they still keep a first. So they swap first with the Raptors, go from 3 to 13. They pick up Siakam. Yes, they have to lose a 2026 first rounder. But you would assume if Dame and Pascal Siakam are still hooping together, and again, that's just an awkward duo. I don't even know how that works. But, you know, in a sense of all reports have been the Blazers want an elite wing player for that third pick. If they're going to give up that third pick, they want an elite wing player. After what we have seen since they won that championship in Toronto, has Pascal Siakam looked like an elite wing player? There's some serious questions to bring up about that. At one point in time, Pascal Siakam was an elite wing player. In 2023, going into 2024, can he still be an elite wing player? We can go to his stats and look it up. Shout out to Cameroon, home team. So what, they got that ring when? 2018, 2019. Okay, 2018, 2019. So it's been 4 seasons since they got that ring, right? And his numbers have been, let me see, can y'all see that? No, y'all can't. Let me bring this over just a bit. Might cut off the year a little bit more. That should be enough. Yeah, okay, now y'all can see. Okay. So the 4 years since they've won the chip, low 20s. The threes have been below league average, except for that first year after Kawhi left. I mean, 30%, that's horrible, bruh. 30%, 34%, that's league average. And this past season, 32%. That's below league average. I mean, he's still doing stat stuffing things. He'll get you some boards. He'll get you some dimes. Effective field goal percentage, he's been around the same percentage. But again, that one Kawhi year, we see how big of a jump. So this right here, I don't want to, blaspheme, but we could say this is a Kawhi bump. Because look how his effective field goal percentage jumped up that 1 year with Kawhi, and it fell back down to earth to where his averages were prior to Kawhi. So a lot of these numbers were Kawhi aided. His 3-point percentage was the best with Kawhi. His field goal percentage was the best with Kawhi. Yeah, like his numbers were definitely Kawhi Leonard aided. So now let's go to the advanced metrics. Let's see if there's something we could decipher in the advanced metrics that can, lead us to think that maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on Pascal Siakam. Per 100 possessions, he got that ring in 2018, 2019. So his defensive rating was a 107. That was playing with Kawhi. It was also the highest with Kawhi, 120. Now, he fell back down to earth in offensive rating, but the defensive rating actually got better the first year post Kawhi. Since then, it's been bad. 113 for a guy that's thought of to know. 113 is bad for a guy that is thought to know how to play defense. This is Luka Doncic's defensive rating, 113. 113, 115, this is Luka-esque. But the thing is, Luka's offensive rating is in the high 120s. And we see the offensive rating is, mid for Pascal Siakam. So this does not appear to be an elite wing forward that the Blazers are allegedly telling people behind the scenes that's what they're looking for that number 3 overall pick. So while this trade has some intrigue in regards to Siakam in the 13th for Scoot or maybe Brandon Miller, and a future first and Nasir Little, and then the Grizzlies make it a 3-teamer and they get I think, if anything, the Grizzlies come off like bandits here. Anthony Simons can go. If you're clearly they're letting Dylan Brooks go. If you can slide in Anthony Simons, put him with Ja and Bane and Triple J, and then Steven Adams, that Grizzlies team gets immensely better. Immensely better. I think the Grizzlies make out the best in this deal. Because if you're the Raptors, you're going to take Scoot when you got Fred VanVleet. Are they going to move Fred VanVleet? It's a big contract. Scoot and VanVleet, if you move VanVleet to the 2, because he's more of a 2 anyway, he's not a real point. Scoot is a real point that can also play like he's a combo guard that is a score first point guard. So he could do either or. So I don't know if I like this. And Masai Ujiri, the luster's kind of fallen off that rose as well. He got that Kawhi stimulus from, making the deal for Kawhi and getting that ring. And he's kind of rode that. But I don't know. Y'all tell me. Scrub Zero, it's time to move on from Dame. Probably 2-3 years past time. I think I'm at that point now. I've been trying to, hang on to the whole thing of what Dame could still be. But I think we've reached that point where, yeah, I think it's time to move on from Dame. I think the best thing for the Blazers is build around Anthony Simons. You take Scoot or Brandon Miller, whoever's there at 3, you pair them with Anthony Simons. That's your new Dame and CJ. You had the Dame and CJ thing, and y'all were able to make it to a conference finals. Now you had to blow that thing up. If you stand pat, you have Anthony Simons, who can either be Dame or CJ. And then depending on how the draft goes, you're either going to get Brandon Miller or Scoot. Both of those guys can go. Now you go trade Dame, you're going to get a boatload for Dame. Future first, ready now players. And now you surround that. You still got Cam Reddish out there. Like there's some dudes there in Portland. And I think if you really, pull Chauncey Billups to the side, he probably wishes like he could get a new fresh start with a new roster where he doesn't have to be just enamored with just, all right, Dame's going to do Dame things and I got to build around that. Anthony Simons, coachable. Like there's things you can do with this roster if you decide to move on from Dame. The window is closed for Dame to win that chip, that elusive Portland chip. To me, the window is closed. So instead of trying to help Dame in Portland and giving up this 3rd overall pick, why don't you flip Dame, go get a boatload, draft Scoot with the 3rd pick, pair him with Anthony Simons, and now you got a bunch of youngins and ready now starters to run with next year in the West. That to me is more doable than let's try to get Dame some more help. As he's another year older, as the window gets more and more closed shut. Why would you do that? Scrub Siakam is a plus wing, but not elite, at least in my opinion. I mean, yeah, I think he was trending towards elite. Clearly, if Kawhi would have stayed, which was never going to happen, if Kawhi would have stayed, then maybe he could have reached elite status just by, playing off Kawhi. Because again, his numbers were never better. Numbers were never better than when Kawhi was there. So the fact that we now can confirm that his numbers were never better than when he's with Kawhi, then yeah. This guy, that Kawhi year, was trending towards elite. And then after that, for the first half of the next year, he was playing out of his mind. And then he came crashing back down to earth in the second half. Because I remember doing the podcast and I was asking, is Siakam the new Kawhi? That was a literal title of an episode because I was like, Siakam is cooking and Kawhi is in LA. Siakam early in that next season, the 2019-2020 season, kind of took the ball and said, it's my rock now. And then I don't know what happened that second half of the year. I don't know who said it was their rock after that, but it damn sure wasn't Pascal Siakam's rock in the second half of the year. Scrub Siakam is a 2 or a 3, not a 1. Blazers will just be a middle of the pack team if they trade for him. That's the best case scenario. Yeah, and that's the part that I don't understand. Like, if you're Dame, like, Dame has to know, like, that third pick, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get with that third pick. Like, what's the prototype player we think? Whereas if they go get this guy, it would be amazing for Dame. Like, what's the best player that's actually available that would be the best fit for Dame? They want an elite wing defender. So let's just go ahead. Chris Middleton's not that. Is it Jaylen Brown? I don't think Jaylen Brown is an elite wing that will help Damian Lillard get a championship. If you're a duo, you're going up against the likes of Kevin Durant and D Book. You're going up against the likes of Jokic and Murray. You're going up against the likes of LeBron and AD. You're going up against the likes of, Jimmy and Bam. You're going up against the likes of allegedly, Giannis and Middleton. Like, there's better duos. Dame and Jaylen Brown? That doesn't sound like a top tier duo to me. Philly doesn't have any wings you would want. Cleveland doesn't have any wings you would want. The Knicks, they keep trying to throw out RJ Barrett. That's not a wing Dame would want. Brooklyn, and I know the Nets and Mikal Bridges keep shooting it down. I think this is the only team. Like, if you're telling me Mikal Bridges and Dame, I'm willing to listen. I think Mikal Bridges, to me, is more dynamic than Jaylen Brown. Less wear and tear as well on the body. Like, I like Mikal Bridges. If you're trying to sell me on that, I'm listening. Okay? But there's been a lot of reports, and I think even Mikal Bridges, he had to come out and say, like, he's not being traded. But that's not up to you, Mikal Bridges. That's not up to you, bro. Miami, nope, because that means Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero won't even be back for the finals. So that tells you how Miami feels about him. Atlanta, nope. DeAndre Hunter, don't want that. Toronto, we just talked about with Siakam. The Bulls don't have the pieces there. The Pacers do not have the pieces. I mean, Benedict is nice, but I'm not going to go that crazy. No, they don't have the pieces. Okay. Washington, Bradley Beal's not a wing. Porzingis, I don't think that's enough. Denny Avdija. Orlando has a lot of bodies. I don't know if they have a lot of wings. No, they don't have the wings. I mean, unless you want to sell Dame on Jonathan Isaac. But I mean, that's another injury. So Charlotte, I don't think so. I mean, they'll have Brandon Miller, but I mean, nope, they don't have it. Nope. So, okay, Detroit, I mean, their best players are way too young. Dame wouldn't sign up for that. They're not ready. Okay. Denver's not going to do anything with that. Memphis does not have the wings. The Kings do not have the wings. The Suns have KD. The Clippers have PG. The Dubs have young, unproven wings, but you're not doing that with Dame. Lakers got nobody. Timberwolves got nobody. The Pels. I mean, okay. Let me throw this out here. If you're the Pels, if you're the Pelicans, would you do Brandon Ingram? You're not going to win anything with him. And I love Brandon Ingram. I call him Young Reaper. because he reminds me a lot of KD, and it's outside of him being skinny as hell. His game reminds me a lot of Kevin Durant, so I call him Young Reaper. Young Reaper ain't that young anymore, but I'm still calling him Young Reaper. Young Reaper, for the number 3 overall pick, the Pels get a point guard in Scoot, put him with CJ, Dame and B.I., a.k.a. Young Reaper, that I'd rather do that than Siakam. I'd rather do that than Siakam. So B.I. and Dame, I like that better than Dame and Siakam. And I like that. I almost like it better than Dame and Bridges. Okay, so there's 2 spots. Mikal Bridges in Brooklyn, Brandon Ingram in New Orleans. OKC, all their best wings are way too young. But here's the thing with them. Here's the thing about OKC. They can't keep all these motherfuckers, man. Some of these dudes got to go. Like, I mean, Chet hasn't even played yet. Poku quietly has kind of like fallen in the hierarchy of the Thunder. Giddey? Backcourt of Dame and Giddey? No, they don't have the wings, though. I mean, I think Jeng and Poku, it would be an enormous roll of the dice. But I would holler at Preston and say, yo, get whatever vet you want to get to make the money work, but I want Jeng and Poku. And we could talk about that 3rd pick. If you feel like you have to throw in Dort to make the money work, I don't care. It's about Jeng and Poku. So but again, these are guys in their own conference. These are teams in their own conference. I don't know if they're going to do that. But I think right now, Pels, Thunder, and the Nets are the only 3 teams that, to me, have players that would make sense for flipping the number 3 overall pick. Dallas, let's see. I don't think they don't have no wings. Dallas don't have no wings. Yeah, Dallas don't have no wings. Plug this in. Hang on. Battery dying. All right, so yeah, they don't have no wings. All right, Mavericks are out. Utah has a lot of picks, but do they have some wings? Is it wing stop in Utah? Nah, no wings. Nope, no wings. Houston's got wings, but they're way too young. Like Jabari to me is a wing more than a traditional big. Tate is okay. Yeah, nah. And then the Spurs got nothing except for Big Vic. So yeah, I think it's just those 3 teams. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Portland could do, because I don't like Siakam. I don't think that's a big enough piece to pair with Damian Lillard to make me think Portland can make a run. But I do think if you go to the Nets, you could get Bridges, and maybe, I don't know if they're going to give up Cam Johnson too, but if you could get Bridges, I like Watanabe a lot. He showed me a lot this past season. I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, there's some guys on this Nets roster where they're the throw-ins. Well, here's the thing, right? What if you tell the Nets, we'll take Ben off your hands? Man, nah, Ben and Cam is too much money. Because I don't think you can move Ben and Mikal Bridges. Would you settle for Cam Johnson if you had to take Ben? Cameron Johnson as the elite wing, but you have to take Ben because the Nets are clearly trying to move on from Ben. Scrub Zero, I like Bridges, but not to win a championship in Portland with Dame. But see, here's the thing, Scrubs. You're like, well, then who else? Like, if we're to believe Portland is really out here and they're really demanding, we will only accept a top tier wing. Who got those that are expendable? I thought the Pelicans would trade B.I. to the Blazers at this point, but he is the most favorable wing player to pair with Dan. Yeah, I think that's the best starting today right now. I think it's only Young Reaper. I think you can make a case for Mikal Bridges. I think you can make a case for, trying to figure out some combination of those youngins from OKC because Presti can't pay or play all of them. Those dudes are going to become expendable. Crap, I'm not taking Ben Simmons even if the Nets paid him all of his money. I mean, yeah, I can see that, but I'm just trying to figure out because you can't trade Bridges and Simmons. The money is too crazy. But I don't think Cameron Johnson got his bag yet. So I think financially you can accept the Ben contract, then you can negotiate a buyout, but then you got Cameron Johnson. But I don't think Cameron Johnson, he's clearly not enough because he's not even as good as Bridges. So that one's going to be tough, man. That one's going to be hard to figure out. That one's going to be a tough sell. I don't know what Dame gets. I don't know the type of help Dame can legitimately expect from this front office. That's why it's like, well, why don't you just go ahead and trade Dame? Why make this be your problem? Why make this be your problem? Why have this be your problem? I'll just go this way. There's no reason to have this be your problem because you have dudes here. Like we talked about Anthony Simons. I think Nasir Little is serviceable. He could be a guy off the bench. You still got Nurkic. He's your vet. You got Tybalt. I mean, I would move on from Kevin Knox, but I love Cam Reddish. There's some guys here that you could work with. I mean, look at this roster right now with just Dame. This roster is, if you're Damian Lillard and you're trying to win, even though Jeremy Grant is good, he's not great. But again, if you flip Dame and get a bunch of starters, you get at least 2 starters for Dame. At least 2 starters for Dame. And future first-round picks. So you got Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, and the 2 starters you're going to get for trading for Dame as your new nucleus. And the number 3 overall pick. So you're going to have Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons, Scoot, and 2 starters you're going to get for Dame and future first-round picks. That's a new roster you can build around and craft your future. But to think I'm going to trade Anthony Simons and a number 3 overall pick to add one more dude to this roster, that shit is laughable. It's absolutely laughable. You can't get that off. That's not going to be a winning team. That's not going to be anything more than a play-in team. If I got to give up Anthony Simons and the number 3 overall pick, but I get B.I. in return, that's still a play-in team. As much as I love Young Reaper, that's still a play-in team. Unless you're telling me the youngest that they've been drafted are going to be unleashed. Keon Johnson, he's got some bounce. People are high on Sharp. I've been leery of Kentucky dudes coming out over the last couple of years, but I mean, Sharp, He's got some pedigree. I just don't see it, bro. I don't see why you would hang on to this Damian Lillard thing. I think you cut bail. You cut bail right now and move on. Okay. Let's go ahead to Ja. So, in case you're under a rock, police did a welfare check on Ja Morant today after the post went up on IG. Thankfully, he's not in danger, and they say he told them simply that he is taking a break from social media. If you missed a post, these are the posts. There was one that he dedicated for his mom, as you see there. Love your ma. Love your pops. Loves his daughter. And then says bye. And some people, because of the fact that he has spoken about mental health issues, dealing with stress and anxiety, some people took that to think that maybe this is a suicide type of post. So them folks called them other folks, and them folks pulled up on Ja to do a welfare check. Now, what does this actually mean? I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend to know what's in Ja Morant's head. But like I said in the beginning of the stream, I have connections with people that are in and around, well, more so around the Ja camp, and they've been quiet today. So I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't even know if they know what the hell's going on with Ja. It's just a lot, bruh. It's just a lot. And I'm not going to sit here. This to me looks more real than the apology that it looks like he got off ChatGPT. This looks more real than the answers he gave in that Jalen Rose sit down. This looks more real than anything he said publicly post that fraudulent 8-game suspension that was really just a 2-game suspension. If he's getting off social media, this is a very weird way to announce it. Bye. That's just weird. Most people just deactivate their account, or they just put up, I'm getting off here for a while, whatever, and then they ghost. But to do this whole thing of saying, you know, I love you, mom, I love you, dad, I love my daughter, bye, to social media, I don't know the symbolism behind that. I don't want to pretend to speculate because that would be silly. But unfortunately, I don't think this will save him from whatever is coming for him from the league in regards to a suspension. If he thinks he can just disappear from social media and that will make the heat go away in terms of a suspension once the new season starts, he's got another thing coming. He's got another thing coming. Adam Silver, you know, this is not getting over on Adam Silver. He got over on Adam Silver the first time, lied to his face. You're not getting over on Adam Silver a second time because now he's being judged. Adam Silver's been Teflon damn near throughout his entire tenure as commish, especially following David Stern, who was not well liked by the players, the media, fans, all of that. So there was not much he had to do to be loved. And Adam Silver's received a lot of praise in his tenure. But this Ja Morant thing and how he handles it, he will be judged how he handles it. And this, you know, quasi, you know, 0 dark 30 LeBron staying off social media shit that Josh trying to get off, this cannot excuse what he like got off a few weeks ago on the gram. It can't. Script zero, I'm not going to guess what's up with Ja. Just going to pray for that young man. Yeah, that's all we can do is keep son in our thoughts and just hope he can figure it out, because to be this young, to be 200 M's up and have potential, you know, sponsorship dollars being taken away because you like the tool too much, pause. And dogs, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So we'll move off of that. I don't think Chief is still here, but this is what Chief, he said he tagged me on Twitter. I didn't receive the notification, but it is the Elon app, so who knows? Maybe he actually did tag me in the tweet. But Patrick Mahomes says he's not worried about getting passed over by other QBs in contract numbers. I worry about legacy. and winning rings more than money at this moment. I've made enough money where I'll be set for the rest of my life. Mahomes could fall to 9th place in salary per season once Chargers Justin Herbert and Bengals Joe Burrow get paid this offseason. He's currently at $45.5 million. So this is why Chief, where is he? Yep, let's get that up. This is what he opened the stream with. Now I hope we can talk about what Mahomes said. I tagged you on Twitter. So he thinks that because Mahomes said these words, that means Mahomes doesn't really care about the money. I would like to ask Chief, I don't think he's still here, but Chief and anybody else, what makes you think I'm supposed to believe that Mahomes believes these words that he said? Mahomes said these words. He's quoted. Am I to actually believe Patrick Mahomes doesn't care because he said these words? His own owner, who's his boss, said he's underpaid. And then a week or two later, there were confirmed reports that the Chiefs and Mahomes were working on a new deal. So while Mahomes can say this, I've made enough money where I'll be set for the rest of my life. Okay, Patrick, well then let's not have your agent work on a new deal then. Tell your agent Lee Steinberg to stand down and not negotiate a new deal then. Just let everyone continue to make more money than you. I mean, your pops played MLB. So in theory, y'all should have been good even before you made it to the league. So you never should have been worried about money, right? But that didn't stop you and your peoples to negotiate a 10-year, $450 million contract. You cared about the money at that point, right? So now you don't care about it. As every single person since you signed that deal has gotten they've used your deal as a linchpin to negotiate off, as a template to negotiate off of. We shouldn't care about that money then, right, Patrick? Because you got the $450. You got your lifetime contract, right? So then why is your agent negotiating with the Chiefs for a new deal for you? That's confirmed. It's not speculation. It's not sources close. It's confirmed reporting. So while he can say, I worry about legacy and winning rings more than money at this moment, that's why he's given Lee Steinberg whatever percentage. So he could get these lies off, and Lee Steinberg can go in there and talk to the Hunt family one-on-one and get a new deal for Patrick Mahomes. So he gets to have his cake and eat it too. I get to save face and not be seen as a QB that is out here demanding money. I'm not out here like Lamar. I'm not doing the Lamar stuff, even though y'all keep telling me he wasn't talking about Lamar when he said that he applauds the way Jalen Hurts went about his contract because he does things, he does his business the right way. Y'all keep swearing up and down to me that was not a subtle shot at Lamar when Lamar was the only QB other than Jalen Hurts who's out here trying to get his money and was doing it differently than Jalen Hurts at that time. Y'all kept telling me he's not talking about Lamar. Cool story, bro. I've been in this media shit too long. I know these games. I know how the words matter. Y'all can believe what you want to believe. It's fine. I'll be on that island by myself. I feel he was sending a little subtle shot at Lamar. And now we know the bag that Lamar got. And now we got Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert vying to beat that bag. And again, there's confirmed reports that the Chiefs and Mahomes' people are working on a new deal, on a contract extension, where they want to move up some of the money. Why? Because all of his money is backloaded. And that was the problem with that contract in the first place. And we've been breaking that shit down for months on this channel. So I'm not going to go crazy here. This shit here doesn't mean anything to me. This is just word salad, is what he's supposed to say as a QB in the spotlight. But he gonna get a new deal. and it's going to have a lot of new money in it. So when that happens, I'm going to make sure I screenshot this tweet, because I want him to answer when he gets that new deal, that $600-700 million up. But Patrick, I thought you made enough money. But Patrick, I thought you worry about legacy and winning rings more than money. But clearly, if we rip up this current deal and give you hundreds of million more dollars, then the money must have meant something, right, Patrick? Why do they have to lie? Why is it a problem to want more money if you feel you deserve it? You're the best quarterback in the sport. Hard stop. Why shouldn't you have a contract that pays you as such? You thought you had that when you first signed the 10-year $450. Now everyone after you has found a way to not have to sign away 10 years and not have to wait 10 years to get the boatload of their money. They looked at your structure and no one has copied it. Don't you think that's a sign that your deal's not that great? If you sign an unprecedented 10-year, $450 million contract and you're that young, and then all the young QBs after you sign significantly shorter deals than that, doesn't that tell you, well, damn, maybe I shouldn't have signed this 10-year contract? Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Scrubs, you don't like Adam Silver. Okay. Hey, you're one of the few that will publicly say that. I mean, he's not perfect, for sure, right? He's not perfect, and he still has, he is the lackey for the owners, because that's the job. What else can Mahomes say? Not make himself look bad. That's what I'm saying. Like, this to me doesn't mean that he means this. This doesn't mean like this is fact. Like, this is truth serum. He was on a, he was taking a lie detector test, and this is what he said, and it can't. Like, I don't think that this means what Chief fans are going to leverage this to mean, because they're already working on a new deal. There was valid reporting done that said before the start of the new season, Mahomes is going to get a new deal because he's seen everybody else get new money and he wants new money. What are we talking about? Like, come on, bruh. Still want to know what the wrong way to go about getting money is from Patty Manning. Yo, that's facts, though. He said that. And that's the part, like, Scrub, that's the part with me where, like, it really stood out to me like, oh, wait, hold up. That rang really hollow to me like, yo, that's a shot. Because Jalen Hurts, black woman agent, transcendent, dope shit, word, moving the culture forward, dope. But again, if I was that reporter and Mahomes is telling me, yeah, Jalen Hurts went about it the right way. He does his business the right way. He plays QB the right way. Da-da-da-da. All right, well then, shit, there's only one other dude that's out here trying to get his money. Are you saying Lamar Jackson isn't going about his business the right way? Just because he's not trying to sign away 10 years of his life like you stupidly did? So much so that 3 years into that 10-year contract, you're already trying to spin the block and get more new money? Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Patrick. Stop it. All right, let's see what else we got today. Let me see if there's any NFL we can run up on. Nah, it's kind of quiet with NFL. All right, let me see if there's any NBA. Might be wrapping up. There is some Kyrie stuff. I would like to save that for tomorrow. I will give y'all, I'll wait. I'll save that for tomorrow. There's some Kyrie sound. There's some stuff in regards to Kyrie and Adidas. What do they call it? Adidas? Like, what was the shit they used to do? There's a horrible trade from Colin Cowherd about LeBron to the Warriors. Like, there's a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to waste y'all time with that today. But I think we can lead that off, especially since there's no games tonight. So I'm going to save that for tomorrow, and we can lead off tomorrow's stream on a Thursday with that stuff. Because, you know, I tried to save my light from burning out, but it burnt out. So, yeah, we'll probably go ahead and have that. I'll bid y'all adieu on that one. Keep the stream a little light today. Let's see. Yeah, we'll keep it right there. Yeah, I'll save that for tomorrow, though. A lot of Kyrie stuff tomorrow, bad LeBron trade offers tomorrow, and whatever else happens between now and then. So you have been watching Timeline T. I am your host, the Sam D, Sam Duzume Jr. If you missed any of this stuff from early in the stream, feel free to run that back on the live tab of the channel. You know, if you have subscribed, salute, thank you, appreciate that. The channel grows every day. If you haven't subscribed, I think you should help, you know, grow this community as we are building something I think pretty special, pretty dope around these parts. Unfiltered, unbiased sports talk. We're having real honest conversations. I'm having them with you, and I'm having them with y'all in the chat and also in the comments. So be part of the community. Join in the CMD podcast later this week. So for those who subscribe to that, you will get an episode drop later in the week before I head off and hit the road for Memorial Day weekend. So for that, for Timeline T, I am the Sam D, Sam Duzume Jr. Salute. Have a good night.